Injustice represented within law through news articles by Amarani Suarez. In the United States, laws are set to protect the innocent, uphold justice, and guarantee that individuals are protected and treated equally under the same laws. But what does one do when the system that is meant to protect us fails to do so? When laws are not properly applied or applied unequally, leading to injustice, we see the breakdown of fairness in society. Injustice within the legal system is not something that is conceptual. It is something that many have to experience on a daily basis. Through news articles, people are able to learn about the laws placed to protect citizens are now failing to protect them, specifically groups of people that are more likely to experience systemic discrimination as it is reflected through legal decisions and systemic flaws. However, news coverage influences the public's perception by misrepresenting the reality and further complicating people's understanding of justice and injustice. Forms of injustice in the United States are often seen occurring to people of color, as they tend to face harsher punishments in comparison to white individuals, even when they are convicted for the same crime. One of the most globally known examples of injustice in the legal system is the case of George Floyd. With his arrest and death being recorded and shared online, it sparked nationwide protests and calls for justice, aiming to highlight the issue of police brutality and racial discrimination in the criminal justice system. Breonna Taylor's death in 2020 further highlighted the issue of police brutality along with issues with police accountability. March 13, 2020, Breonna, a 26-year-old black woman, was killed by police during a raid in her apartment. Law enforcement officers executed a warrant based on false information. The failure to hold the officers involved accountable sparked outrage over the policing and racial injustice. Injustice within the law is also shown through immigration policies that target specific populations, leading to families breaking up. In 2018, the Trump administration appointed the zero-tolerance policy, which led to the separation of thousands of children from their parents in the U.S.-Mexican border. Multiple news outlets reported that these children were being placed in detention centers, many of them without knowing when or if they will be able to see their families again. Knowing and seeing the situation these children were in led to public outrage that led to a few legal changes. Women's rights and reproductive justice continue to be an ongoing battleground in the legal system, specifically reproductive rights. As the years pass, the more restrictions the United States continue to pass on abortion laws, making it difficult for women in some states to access safe and legal procedures. With these restrictions, it has caused significant concern among women in certain communities who now face barriers to healthcare access. These restrictions are a violation of their fundamental rights to make their own decision on their own bodies. Legal injustice is also evident in the LGBTQ+ community and in their rights, as many LGBTQ+ individuals continue to face legal battles related to discrimination and get recognition for their rights. Although same-sex marriage is legal in many states, there are some states that continue to not recognize them as individuals. News articles have played a significant role in shaping public perception of the criminal justice system, as they are often the ones to highlight and call out the flaws and systemic injustices. Depending on the news outlet writing the news article, the idea of the criminal justice system would either be painted in a positive light or in a negative light. However, the majority of news articles paint the system in a negative light for failing to hold law enforcement accountable. Many news outlets have published reports on racial disparities in sentences and showing the differences in sentencing. The readers are able to notice how the system is unfair, especially towards people of color. News articles that usually cover the topic of police brutality emphasize on the facts that law enforcement officers involved very often avoid hard punishment as they are rarely convicted. The public's trust in law enforcement and in the courts have declined due to many believing the system is rigged against certain communities. The media's coverage of these issues remain as a force behind the criticism and demands for change. The correct way to portray justice in the criminal justice system in news articles is to focus on facts rather than on a narrative. News articles should focus on informing the public without portraying bias. Instead of focusing on the failures of injustice, they should also report on how justice has been successfully served. There are a variety of ways news articles and news outlets can go about portraying injustice in the justice system. It would be better for them to educate rather than to mislead the public.